treat to go with your afternoon cup of tea. Donal's got just the thing. We're sitting here. It's like being one of those posh restaurants at the chef's table.
I know.
You're sitting there, we're watching.
So
I'm loving
nice.
the fact that I can eat this one and then I can eat that one.
You get through that and that, you'll be all right.
Do you know, in the summer, if wasps weren't a problem, I'd smear this all over myself.
Is that your
Oh, my
favourite?
God, Phillip, please.
God, look
Is that
a morning show.
What's that
Caramel
called?
sauce.
Caramel Dr.
Dulce de leche, yeah, caramel
But I'm
sauce.
allergic to wasps, so it'd
So
be
probably
a
best
catastrophe.
not.
you
Probably
dare.
best not. I'm glad you're sitting down for this because it is one of those desserts that's heavy and rich and absolutely delicious, but very easy to make.
Yeah.
This is a caramel swirled tray leche cake. So it's got, it's basically a sponge that's soaked in 3 milks. It's a Mexican dessert that's absolutely gorgeous. We've started off by creaming up the butter and some sugar. And to this, I'm going to add egg yolk. So the thing here is that we're separating the eggs here. I've whisked up the egg whites, so this gives us the lightness of touch here. So mix in your egg yolks, and this really is the kind of idea here is that you create these sort of little bubbles that the evaporated milk, the condensed milk, and the regular milk is going to soak into. So very, very simple, but it's a lovely little concept, and it's very adaptable as well. So once you create the sponge, you've got your egg yolks in. We're going to add in our flour, so that gets folded through.
Yeah.
We get our teaspoon of leavening agent, so baking powder goes in as well. And I'm just going to give that a good fold through. So sort of like a sponge cake, but you're also creating that lightness of touch with the egg whites as well. So really simple. It's a lovely Sunday dessert, but it's also nice for kind of 11s and things like that as well.
It's nice to try something a bit different.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what's quite nice about it. When I was reading the recipe this morning, I couldn't imagine what it was going to look like. I didn't know whether it was going to be moussey or spongy.
Right.
So when I came in, I was like, that's what it is.
I know, it's different if you haven't had it before, but it's actually quite adaptable as well. So you can serve this with strawberries, particularly in the summer months, or alternatively, if you lay the cream flat, you can also dust it with some cinnamon, and it's really lovely because you get that contrast of this sort of lightness and sweetness, but also that kind of spice as well.
I mean, it's absolutely delicious.
Isn't it tasty?
It's like 1 billion calories.
It's 1 billion calories, but look, you're happy. Everyone's smiling when they've had it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll get the guilt after, but nevertheless.
Yeah. But again, you know, the beauty of the fact that we're going to soak it with all these milks as well. Once you have that sponge, we're going to soak it. And the great thing about that is that you end up with something that you can actually make ahead in advance. So if you wanted, you could do this 3 days in advance. It actually improves the flavour. So it's had the moment to sit. So once you've had your sponge, and it's kind of at this stage, we're going to fold in our egg whites. Now, key trick when you are folding in your egg whites, as you probably know, take a little bit of that egg white mixture first. Then loosen your batter, and you don't have to worry too much about this point. So you can just beat that in, and that kind of lightens the batter. It makes it a little bit looser. Then all you're going to do is take the rest of that egg white and then gently fold it in.
Don't be deceived that this is a light cake. Because it's
certainly not what we're going to do next.
It's almost like a treacle, like a suet pudding type thing, the texture of it, isn't it? But with more caramel and cream. It's got that, like, unctuousy, yumptious.
And that's what's going to happen right now. So you pour that batter into your lined baking tin. Any baking tin will do. You just put a bit of parchment paper in, bake it in the oven, and it's going to bake for about 35 minutes because it is that little bit longer. But once you have that out of the oven, the key thing here is to get it while it's hot. And while it's still warm just from the oven, you get a very simple looking cake, but this is the trick to it. So you're going to take a skewer and you're going to basically poke little holes all the way through. Highly recommend that you do this in a baking tin once it's come out of the oven, and pop it in with a little lip like this.
Otherwise
because it's going to go everywhere. So pop in your little skewers, and I have a combination of 3 milks here. So I have whole milk, I have evaporated milk, and I have condensed milk. And this is where you're getting that richness, that pudding-like texture here.
Pudding.
So that all goes into our little jug. The sweetness you're getting from the condensed milk here is what really makes this dessert special, OK?
My goodness me.
Just a little bit of touch. I mean, you could. I've got evaporated milk here as well, but you could just do whole milk and condensed milk. Don't look at me like that.
Listen,
you wanted something sweet. I've come in.
If you're going for it, you might as well go for it.
You've got to go for it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Throw a few strawberries in there and it's a dessert.
It's perfectly fine. What are you fine today?
Yeah. Give that a good mix through, and then this is the trick, and this is my favourite bit of the whole process. Once you've created those little pock marks, we're going to pour that over. So you pour half first, and then you leave it to soak. So it will take a minute or two to soak up. And once you have it...
Does it absorb all that?
Yeah, it will. It will actually suck it up, and that's what you're getting, that really beautiful moisture throughout it. It shouldn't be necessarily soggy, but it should be something that has that really nice kind of moisture to it. So pour half, and then leave the other half, and then come back and do it again, and then you've got something that is soaked up all that gorgeousness. To finish it off, my friends, we have...
Why not?
Just a little touch of cream. And what I would say is dollop it on, nice whipped cream. Like I said, you could do this with a bit of cinnamon on top. You could serve it with strawberries.
Could you shave some lard on top of it as well?
Yes, absolutely. And we'll be working out the Weight Watcher points after this. But look, it's one of those decadent desserts. I served this. My aunt made this for my brother's engagement party. And when I say people were raving about it, everyone wanted the recipe.
Surprised.
So it really is one of those desserts that's just special. So pile on double whipped cream, looking good. And then what I do to finish it off, because just in case it needs a little bit more sweetness and sugar, a drizzle of this beautiful dulce de leche. And what I do is I stick a little bit of that on top and then using the spoon, just swirl that through and you have...
It's really beautiful, isn't it? Look at that.
Stunned you into silence.
Do you know what?
This
it's a bit
where
mesmerising. I could sort of just sit and watch this.
Isn't that lovely? I mean, that's
really
just...
nice.
That's, you having a moment?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm going to stay here for the rest of the show. That's amazing.
Come
Thank
on.
you. Well done.
Thank you very
Bravo.
much. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Just stunning, as always.
And I'm off to a treadmill after this.
You can see it soaking it up. Then.
It is, yeah.
Yes.
It will do.
Really
And come back from work and then you pour it in. Yep.
Wow.
Amazing.
Right. For
Thank you.
details of today's
Thank you.
recipe and more delicious ideas from our chefs, download the free This Morning app.